So, what is another characteristic that you believe is great for marriages?
Well, I say use a little football strategy. And if you don't like football, you can say basketball or any other sporting event. But this resonates with guys. But, you know, I was in the grocery store one day and I heard a man talking to a friend, and he said, "Oh, my marriage is a little like this football season. I keep hoping it's going to get better and it never does."
Oh, goodness.
And I was so taken back by that comment because I thought, well, you can't just sit on the sidelines and wait for something to get better. You have to be intentional. And in football teams, winning games are not made by sitting on the sidelines and waiting. They use strategy. They use they look at the team members and they look at the strengths and the weaknesses, and they utilize the strengths to accomplish a common goal. And I say you need to start thinking that your husband or wife is not your enemy. We all have a common enemy, and we know that that's the devil. But your husband or wife is on the same team, and you are working together to accomplish long-term love. You're working together to accomplish your life's goals and dreams together as
Oh,
partners.
that's so good. I have to stop you right there. Long term love. Till death do you part.
Yes, ma'am.
Long term love. Amen. Okay, I'm sorry.
You are so fun.
That is so
So
powerful. Go ahead.
yes, so you're working together with a common goal. And sometimes we look at our spouse and see our spouse as our enemy or our opponent instead of our teammate, that we're working together to move the ball down the field. And so if you're intentional, you need to have those huddles where you talk with each other like, what are your hopes and dreams here? What are the goals you want to pursue in our marriage and in our life together? And how can we help each other make those things happen? See, so to me, that's another communication element, of drawing together. And instead of assuming what your spouse thinks or assuming what they want, let's have some conversation and strategy meetings to think about how we can enjoy this game of life together and make those things happen and hit some goals.
Yeah, conversations, strategy meetings. Communication is such an important part of a marriage. What do you say about communication?
Yeah, it's really important. I think everybody communicates differently,
Okay.
and we need to learn to not react. One of the things I talk about in Dancing in the Kitchen is about when you're wanting to communicate something that's difficult, besides praying and asking God to help you not be um, offensive. But to bring it up in a non-defensive way, we need to talk about hard things sometimes, though. You can say, hey, when you say this, I feel. Because you know what? Feelings are feelings. They're neither right or wrong. And that's a good place to start. Hey, when this happens, I really feel disrespected. Or when you don't listen to me, or when you don't do that thing I asked, it really makes me feel like I'm either invisible or I'm not respected by you. Can we have a conversation about that? Because it takes away this defense, where you're attacking. Never say you always, you never, because it's not actually true. Okay. You might feel that way, but it's not true.
Communication, learning how to communicate well with your spouse can be something that you grow into.
Yes.
Miscommunication is a hard topic for marriages
Mm.
because when they communicate, they think they're right, they think they're telling the truth, and it's that way. But a lot of times there are nuances that have to be dealt with. I heard a marriage mentor, say that there was a study of couples arguing with each other. They were in this office and they were arguing with each other. And so after they calmed down, they asked the couples to write down what they said and then write down what they heard. and both of those things were wrong.
Isn't it amazing?
That's
It
so amazing to me. Yes.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
A lot of times, unfortunately, couples speak out of their feelings, but those feelings may be anger or
Right.
frustration. What do you say about speaking out of anger or frustration?
Well, I say take a time out and don't speak out of anger. If you're feeling yourself getting angry, try to step away from the conversation and say, you know what? I'm feeling over emotional right now. Can we just take a pause and I'll talk about this later in 5 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you need. There's no time limit on this. I mean, we feel like we have to have this decision in the moment because we're getting frustrated or angry. But the other thing is think you need to give space for the fact that we perceive things differently as human beings, because there's a whole your whole life leads to the way you process information. All the things you've been through makes you the person you are. And so sometimes this happened recently, and I can't even remember what it was. We were out with another couple. My husband said something. He didn't mean it the way I took it. So in the car later, I was a little incensed at the moment. Like, why did you say that? But I didn't say that at the time. We got in the car and I went, hey, so when you said blah, 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 I felt like you were saying this about me. And he went, oh, that's not the way I meant it at all, but I perceived it that way because of all the things that make me who I am and all the experiences I've had. And sometimes I'll say something that he takes the wrong way. And it's the stories we tell ourselves. We assume something about somebody else. The biggest thing I say is do not assume. Get curious, ask questions. Okay, you just said this thing. I'm curious, what did you mean by that? Or uh, because this is the way I took it. And usually right then and there, there's an immediate diffusal of that anger, frustration, instead of allowing yourself to get angry. And the other thing is, if you do step away, don't rehearse this in your head and let fuel to the fire and just that it gets bigger and bigger. Take the facts, remove your feelings, and then just have a discussion. That makes it so much easier.